go for it. And I have mozzarella cheese. We're not going to throw that inside, though. We could, don't get me wrong. But, you know, usually what you do with the bell peppers, you put the cheese on top. We're going to also put the cheese on top here. Now, I'm going to stir this up really quick. But what I want to show you here inside my bowl, I've already browned my ground beef. And, you know, some people, what they will say to do is ground your ground beef, then empty it out, and then throw in some oil and saute your onion. No, 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 no. You're losing flavor when you do that. Cut that onion up. There's a whole yellow onion in here. Cut that onion up, and as you are sauteing, or browning your beef rather, use your onion. Let the onion soak in that flavor, get it a little translucent, and it looks great. Other ingredients here for you. We're going to have a whole can of tomato sauce. That is a 15-ounce can is what that is. Then I've got petite diced tomatoes, but I got the Italian style that you see there. It's got Italian seasoning in there, wonderful flavor. We're going to do some more Italian seasoning with it too. And you can use chicken broth, but you're using beef, so use beef broth instead. But if you have chicken broth, that works just fine. Other ingredients up here, this is some more of the Italian seasoning that I got from my grinder. If you don't have this grinder in your kitchen and you love Italian seasoning, I highly recommend it. It grinds up the herbs and such there for you. I don't want to say fresh because they're dried in there, but boy, is that loaded with flavor. Sage is going to go into the recipe, garlic powder, and some red onion flakes as well. So we're going to fire up the burner here to start heating things up. And really all you're going to do is just add your ingredients. So we're going to start with the bell peppers. And if you want to leave them in there for a while so they kind of soften up, you can do that. But I think maybe with this soup, a little bit of a crunch would really not be too bad of a thing. But they'll get a little tender, of course, sitting in there, especially when they sit in there over time. So we got the beef in there. I used an 80-20 beef. But you know, use whatever you want. In fact, if you want to get a little fancier and get some good flavor in there, you could go with maybe a chuck or a sirloin. So just kind of stir everything up so it starts to get all that heat. Look at the beautifulness of that dish right there. Then we're going to throw in that whole can of tomato sauce so that we have that tomato base. Because with stuffed bell peppers, you may throw in some tomato in there, right? But of course, the sauce is somewhat thick, so to loosen things up for us a little bit and make this a little more soupy versus looking like Sloppy Joe's right now, you're going to take that whole big can of that petite diced tomato in your Italian seasoning. And leave the juices in there too, by the way. That'll make it a little more soupy for you instead of, you know, once again, being too thick. But even with that, you can still see, all right, it's still kind of thick, Joe. What are we going to do? Well, that's why we're going to throw in that whole can of that beef broth. That's going to be kind of your base, if you will, for soups, right? Broths are going to be what you use for your soup. Then you see that really loosens things up. Now we're going to throw in some more of that Italian seasoning, which I've already ground up because it does take a little bit of time. Going to throw in some garlic powder. You can, by the way, if you want to, right as that beef is about done browning with your onion, you can throw in 2 cloves of minced garlic if you'd like to do that. And then just for a little bit of heat, red pepper flakes there. Now, I mentioned that I had the sage on this, and the reason I want to add some sage, if you've never used sage before, it really gives you a depth of flavor with your dish, and it has a earthy flavor. It has a warm flavor, if you could even say that. So the reason I want to add some sage into this is we're talking cool weather. We're talking soups to keep you warm. So that's why I want to throw in there about maybe maybe a tablespoon there of sage. Don't overdo it, though. The sage can be fairly strong. And, of course, as you know, once you add too much in there, you can't take it out. So you may want to play with the sage if you've never used it before. Put a couple dashes in, taste it. Put a little bit in your palm here and kind of taste it that way so you know what flavor you're looking for. But once all is said and done, the last thing you're going to add in there is your cooked rice, because I know a lot of people put rice into their stuffed bell peppers. We'll try that and see if that's enough. And stir in that rice. This rice is already cooked, by the way. I did not put it in there as still needing to be cooked, or else you'd be eating some crunchy rice. And if you see things are still a little too thick, you can once again add in some more of that beef broth, which I have some more here. So I am going to add a little bit more of that beef broth into it. Once all is said and done with all your ingredients mixed in here and everything's warm and it's simmering, then you're going to take yourself a bowl, put it into the bowl, and then on top, get yourself a little bit of fresh parsley, sprinkle that on top with your mozzarella, and serve it. And boy, you've got yourself one hearty of a dish. So I'm going to get a little more broth in here, serve it up for Ron, and he'll try it out in a couple minutes.